Okay, everyone, I'm just going to talk you through your number bubble diagrams. Now, we actually have 4 of these to look through. So I'll go through the first one, the number. Factors, multiples, and primes. A factor divides in evenly. So, for example, factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. A multiple are the answers to multiplication tables. So, for example, multiples of 12 are 12, 24 and 36. Primes. Primes have 2 factors, itself and 1. And the first prime number is a 2. Then it goes 3, 5, 7, 11. 1 is not a prime number. We then have prime factors. To find prime factors, you keep dividing by the smallest prime number that goes in evenly. Now, if you have a look over here, I'm finding the prime factors of 24. So you divide by 2 to get 12, you divide by 2 to get 6, you divide by 2 to get 3, and divide by 3 to get 1. And you see these numbers down the side, 2, 2, 2, and 3. They are called the prime factors. Okay. Prime factors are used usually in 2 ways. One, to find the highest common factor, and the next way to find the lowest common multiple. To find the highest common factor, you find the prime factors. Find the lowest common multiple, you find the prime factors. In highest common factor, you include the common factors, whereas in lowest common multiple, you include each number to the highest power. So what does that mean? If you look at my wee example of 24 and 36, I'm finding the prime factors, and then I do the same for 36, dividing down to find the prime factors. For highest common factor, you link the ones which are in common. So there's a 2 in common, another 2 in common. There's no partner for this 2, so you leave it out. And there's a 3 in common. So the highest common factor is a 2, 2 and a 3. And that gives you 12. The lowest common multiple is when you include each number to the highest power. So what I'm going to do for the 24 is write that as 2 cubed times 3. For the 36, you write that as 2 squared times 3 squared. So for lowest common multiple, I have to include both the 2 and the 3, but it goes to the highest power. 2, 3 is higher than 2, 2, so I include 2, 3. 3, 2 is higher than 3, so I include 3, 2. So it's 2 cubed times 3 squared, 8 times 9, 72. So that's your lowest common multiple. Also a number, I have indices. These are powers. If you multiply the numbers, you add the indices, divide the numbers, subtract the indices, and power to power means multiply. So for example, see I'm multiplying there, you add the indices. Now just be careful. See this one here, I'm adding. There is no rule up there for adding numbers. So you just have to work that out. So that's 8 plus 16 is 24. Whereas down in the next one, see where I'm dividing? So you subtract the powers. Dividing, subtract the powers. 3 take away 4 is minus 1. And that is a power to a power. So you multiply that, giving you 2 to the 12. Also, in my little diagram, I've got negatives. Negatives split into add, subtract, multiply, divide. When you're adding or subtracting, you can't have 2 signs side by side. So for example, if you had this wee sum here, see where them 2 are side by side? You would circle them, because they're different, put in a minus. Then think of your number line. Start at minus 3, drop down 2 to minus 5, drop down another 5, you arrive at minus 10. The number, multiplying and dividing. You do the sign first, then the number. So if you look at this wee sum here, do the power bit first. Minus 5 times minus 5 is a positive 25. The top line now becomes minus 50, divided by 2, negative 25. So the sign always comes first. Then we have BODMAS or BIDMAS. B is for brackets. O is for order, or I for index. It's the same thing as the wee power bits. D for divide, M for multiply, A for add, S subtract. So in this wee sum here, we simple one, do the multiplying bit first. 5 take away 6 is minus 1. And the last wee thing is reciprocals. Reciprocals have 3 different types. If you have a fraction, you turn it upside down. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 over 2. If you have an integer, a reciprocal means 1 over. So the reciprocal of minus 3 is 1 over minus 3. If you have a decimal, you must write it as a fraction, then upside down. So reciprocal of 0.7. You have write that as 7 over 10, then it goes upside down to 10 over 7.